Hello everyone, welcome to a new wandering, and I am back to a place I have visited before and I have filmed a few videos. I'm at the historic dockyard at Chatham, which is down that way. It is a maritime museum which is on part on the site of the former royal or naval dockyard at Chatham in Kent. It's a bit windy, so I hope the audio is not going to be too bad. What I wanted to say, I did a proper presentation of the history of the dockyard, so make sure you check out that video if you want to have it in context. Today I have returned because there's more things to see and visit, including two amazing ships. And today I am taking you to see the HMS Gannet, which is a Victorian sloop that shaped naval history. So let's go and see this absolutely beautiful ship. If you buy a ticket for visiting the dockyard, it's a bit pricey, but it is valid for a whole year, so you can return many times if you have the opportunity, so it's well worth it. But let's go see the HMS Gannet. Alright, I'm in. There's some amazing buildings, and this one in front of us is housing the lifeboat museum. But the one I want to show you is there. Before I get closer, I just wanted to show you this anchor. It's pretty cool. And this is not even a very large one, but it's large enough to imagine the boat it served. And there she is, absolutely beautiful. Those my videos regularly might have picked up on previous comments from here and there how much I like sailboats, but this was not an ordinary sailboat. This was something a little bit more different. She is a Dotterel class screw sloop. The Gannet was a hybrid of sail and steam. It had a wooden hull over iron frame, ring mast and a steam powered screw, and a top speed of around 12 knots by steam and 15 knots by sail. She carried a crew of approximately 140 people and was armed with muzzle loading rifles and guns, ready for long voyages and enforcement duties across the globe. We can see most of her from here. Absolute beauty. And just let's have a look at decoration. I'm not sure, it looks like, I'm not sure what kind of bird that is. The light is very funky and my eyes are playing tricks on me. As you can see by the inscription, the HMS Gannet was launched in 1878. And it was commissioned that from April the year after, 1879, to sail via Cape Horn to Chilean waters, shadowing the War of the Pacific and patrolling the Pacific Station over 4 years. And about 95,000 kilometers later, she upheld British interests from Lima to Panama, demonstrating soft power in action. But let's go aboard and see how she looks like. I'm gonna climb up in a minute. First I just wanted to show you the duality of it. So we have the steam, whatever you call it, where the steam came out from, and then the sail part with the rigging. And of course here is one of the cannons. There were more. I am trying to include as much as possible of its structure. It's absolutely gorgeous. Just about a month ago I've been on another really cool ship, the replica of now Santa Maria, one of Columbus's ships when it passed through Maidstone, not Maidstone, Gravesend. Obviously there's a video about that if you're curious. That was pretty cool too. But let's climb up and see what's up there. Okay, how cool is this? Absolutely amazing. I will tell you more about its history because a lot of things have happened with this ship. Just wanted to have a quick look around, and I am, you know, just blown away by seeing all this. Some of the ropes, they still make rope here in Chatham, and that's an interesting video as well I have filmed. You can find it on the playlist of Wanderings. Let's face the cannon. I really would have not liked to be in front of it for real. There's an old, now rusty looking crane used for loading and unloading. Let me quickly show you around. So in front of us we have the barrier, and we are by the river Medway, which is a beautiful river, quite wide and meandering. That way up, kind of in the middle of my screen, is Rochester, and you can see the top of the cathedral and the top of the castle. Beautiful town. And as the river goes up that way, it continues into Chatham. And then there's two more very interesting things to see here. One of them is, you can see this black bit in the middle. That's the top middle part of HMS Ocelot, a really cool submarine. Again, there's a video about that, including a short visit within it. And then behind it is another boat that I'm going to show you in a different video, the HMS Cavalier, a warship. Now before I get down, let me tell you about the second commission of this ship. She was recommissioned in 1885 and joined the Mediterranean fleet before heading to the Red Sea in September 1888. She was ordered to Suakin in Sudan to support British forces against Mahdist rebels led by Osman Digna. Over 27 days, the Gannet fired more than 200 shells and 1,200 Nordenfeld rounds, helping to defend the port until it was relieved in October. Following this combat, the Gannet conducted hydrographic surveys across the Mediterranean and also the Red Sea until paid off in March 1895. Then she entered harbour service at Chatham and Sheerness before being classed non-effective in 1900. I've come down to the main deck, and her story is not over. She was completely reinvented at something else, I'll tell you in a minute. Let's have a look at this. How cool. And big, it's taller than I am. There we have the bell as well, and I like what it says here, deeds not words, and something fun. It's a shark bin or something. Let's explore the other side, and I think we can go down inside its belly as well. So cool. I can go down there, but first I want to see this part. I am not a ship connoisseur, though I really like them, so I'm just staring at things. I recognize some bits, but I don't even have the right terminology for it. Oops. Let's go. Oh, there's another big cannon here for the defense of the front. And you can see the chains and for the anchors, multiple ones going down. And there's an old lamp there. Funnily, I think it's close to a modern smoke detector. There's another one where these ones they're electrical, so not quite that old. No, I'm gonna go down there. It's very steep, so I need to hold on. And I'm in. Okay, let's have a quick whiz around. I'm more interested in the construction of it. Oh, there's a hidey hole there, as are many others. Sorry, I'm all over the place. I don't even know which way to look. They show you knots and stuff. That's cool. It's not too busy today, and I'm very happy about that. Okay, this is cool. The boiler room. Looks quite rusty, obviously, as it's stationed here. It's large. Let me show you this picture so you can imagine it better. You also have the explanation there. But let's continue with its history. As I told you, she was decommissioned in 1900, and 3 years later, in 1903, she became the drill ship HMS President in London. And then she was renamed President 2 in 1909, and by 1913 she served as a dormitory ship called T.S. Mercury on the River Hamble. Look at this beautiful knotted rope work. I keep getting distracted. Anyway, for over 50 years, she housed and trained disadvantaged boys in preparation for naval careers. And this was a dramatic shift from warship to a huge classroom afloat. And there's some water in here. The boys who were training did not have an easy life. You can read about it a bit. I can still see happy faces. spite of the hardships, I'm sure they still had lots of joyous moments too. Let's look at the next one. A tough life. Oh yeah. I'm just reading it so you can too. Let's see them working, training. You can just pause the video because I don't want to bore you with holding on too long. And here we can read about the closure of it in 1968. Yeah. Let me just tell you a little bit more. After it closed, a few years later, it was acquired by the Maritime Trust in 1971 and transferred to Chatham in 1987, where it underwent a meticulous restoration of her 1888 form, complete with the mast, hull and the armament we've just seen. It was supported by grants, including over 2.6 million from the Heritage Lottery Fund, and as we saw, she now stands proudly as one of the few surviving composite sloops afloat. Sorry, that was hard to say. Sloops. And I climbed back up, and let's climb up there as well. One of the anchors.
Imagine if the stick got cut in half.
And there we are, right at the front of it. Can't go any further. Before I finish, I'm just panning back here to show you the HMS Ocelot a little bit better. You can see her from a really cool submarine. And then the HMS Cavalier. And then there's more things that way, including the ropery. I highly recommend a visit here, but make sure that you are planning the whole day, otherwise it would be just a big rush. Okay, let's have a view from here as well. I would love to see her with the sails up. I don't know if they ever do that, because they just look so splendid. Now, why would we think that the Gannet matters today? One of the things is that because at her time she was an engineering milestone. It represents the transition from sail to steam and from wood to iron in ship design. She had a global service from the Pacific Ocean to the Red Sea. She upheld British naval strategy across key imperial threats. Then we have the human story. A floating school for boys who might otherwise have lacked opportunity. She became a vessel of hope for them. And also as living history, as she was meticulously restored here at Chatham, she invites us aboard to experience late Victorian naval life. And with that, I hope you enjoy this wandering in this beautiful ship, which isn't just masts and water, it's a bridge between eras, missions and communities. One more look at her from this side. As I said, if you have the opportunity to come and visit Kent for any reason, and you have time, include one extra day for the Chatham dockyard, because it's well worth it. There's also a ton of activities for children, but it is interesting enough for any age group, even if you're just an amateur or just love boats or maritime history, you will find tons and tons of things to see here. Okay, that's that. Goodbye from the beautiful HMS Gannet. Have a lovely day, everyone, and make sure to check out previous videos I filmed here and some future ones, because as I said, there's gonna be more. Okay, bye!